Today we're going to be talking about the CISSP exam, Certified Information System Security Professional. I want to just highlight some quick things about this exam, some guidance and preparation, and kind of an overview on the approach and mindset about taking this exam. To be quick with it and upfront, so I passed my CISSP, and I think it was September, and I went through the process a while back and was really not going to take the exam. I was kind of in the mindset that, okay, maybe when I get more and more experience down the line at some point I'll sit and take it. But I kind of just said, you know what, man, screw it, let's just go take it, and we'll see what happens. So I went and started my journey, started studying. I went through every single possible program that you can imagine, and figured out, I think, what would be the best combination of things. A lot of stuff I felt like wasn't really good, and we'll get into some of what that was. But I think the biggest thing is when you go through all these forums and Reddit, and you're trying to figure out, man, how's this exam? How's this exam? How's this exam? There's a lot of people who gatekeep this exam, and I think that is the detriment to it mainly. People make it seem like this thing is, the most impossible test in the world. Like, they make it seem as if you're sitting to take it in English, but you're really taking it in Spanish. And, that is not the case. And I feel like if you come in there under the impression that this is the hardest thing you should treat it that it's going to be a hard exam, because every exam at this level is going to be somewhat difficult. Okay. So treat it like you won't want to fail and lose out on a $750, voucher. But if you treat it like, oh my gosh, it's the hardest thing, then lose confidence in your ability to pass it, then you probably will fail. I think that was the biggest thing for me, is I had to stop reading through Reddit and figure out for myself, who are these people? Why do they think that this is impossible? It's not impossible. Obviously, people pass it. So I just said, okay, I'm going to pass it, and I'm going to study. And if I study well enough, then I pass. And if I didn't pass, that means I didn't do a good job studying. So I went through, I studied for about 4 months. I probably could have taken it in 3, but I studied for 4 months. I have about 3 years of experience. And I took it, and I passed 125 questions, and I felt confident that I was going to pass early. I felt like the questions weren't that crazy. I think half of the battle of the test is just understanding the question format. And, I think if you take a lot of practice questions, you really are going to encounter very close to what the exam could show you, right? So, I see a lot of people saying that nothing you will ever take will prepare you for, but I think, if you see enough questions, it'll prepare you for the exam. And, that's pretty much it. I think going from there, just kind of the track of what, I think is useful. I've taken, Udemy courses, LinkedIn Learning. I've done some of the, ITTV. I did, Cybrary, a bunch of different things, YouTube. And I felt that most of them sucked. Like Mike Chappell, no offense to him, but his LinkedIn Learning course was not great at all. ITTV made me want to fall asleep watching it. It was not good. Their format's weird. I don't personally like it. What I did find as far as the best courses, if you have a company that's paying, I would say Destination Certification, CISSP, they have a really good platform to utilize if somebody else is paying for it. This is a good one. If you have that kind of money, it's not on. I wouldn't put this at the top of the list though. But if you are looking to spend $5,000, for example, and you need to spend that much money for whatever reason, then this is something that you should consider. I don't think it costs that much, but they also give you a lot of insight, and I think just the UI experience here is really nice. The best courses though are definitely Kelly Handerhan. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing that name incorrectly, but that her CISSP course on Cybrary is very, very good and relevant. Even though it's old, it is definitely still very relevant. I felt. And it really helped put a lot of things in perspective for me. And then also Larry Greenblatt's CISSP course is really, really good. I felt like once I watched the Cyber course and did Larry Greenblatt's course, especially, it clicked for me, and I really made the connections that I didn't make, haven't had made up until that point. I took the Udemy courses through Thor Peterson. I thought those were pretty decent. Um, and if you want to take those, take those. But I felt like at the end of the day, these two were the best. I also supplemented them with, um, you know, Inside Cloud Security. His CRAM CISSP course, I would always be referencing back to this to kind of get some refresher and kind of just reinforce that knowledge in the background. I would listen to it when I sleep. I don't know if that works, but that's what I was doing. And then, like I said, Destination Certification, they also have posted like some free informational stuff. They have really good like bite-sized content you can consume for free on YouTube to help clarify some things that you are maybe a little bit confused on. They have some good things on here about like I think cryptography and private key, public keys, all that stuff like that. Um, but those are the courses I felt like were the best. And then a book I did buy the official study guide, and I was trying to read it. I couldn't really digest the whole thing. I did utilize all their practice exams. I felt like the practice exams, as we're going to transition to it, I guess now. I took a bunch. I took maybe I don't even know over 5,000, maybe up to 8,000 practice questions. I felt like the best questions that I took were the Boson, was the Boson CISSP test. Those ones I felt were the best overall. The certification practice exams, Boson, I think you get like 750 questions, somewhere along those lines. I think this was very much worth it. And then on top of that, the IT Pocket Prep app. This was very worth it. I did all the questions through here. The official ISC Squared exam prep app was very good as well. This is free, but you can pay for a version of it to get access to more questions. And let's say if you study over the course of, how long I did it, I was really only spending, I think this app was like $7 a month, and then this app is like $20 a month. So, and then maybe I spent probably, I did every single material out there in general, but through those things, you're spending maybe a couple, maybe 50, 60, $70 a month, whatever it may be averaging out. But that was the things I felt most effective. And also CC Cure, Larry Greenblatt recommended this. I went right after he recommended it. I went through all the CISSP questions on here. I thought they were very good. Explanations were really good. And I think the explanations in the CISSP Boson package as well are really good. So those are the things I felt were really good. I did take all of Thor Peterson's practice questions. I felt like they were just good to like really just associate things in your brain. Like I utilized them almost as like flashcards. So they were my theoretical flashcards. I did make flashcards, but I think his easy to medium questions test packages he had on Udemy, they were very much like, do you know definition term, and then his harder questions were more getting you prepared for how to read the questions. I think they were helpful, but if you have to pick and choose, I think the best of the best are the ones that I pointed out thus far. And and then I also did I think it's Luke Ahmed's Think Like a Manager book. The book was good. I think it helped me understand better how to think like a manager CISSP exam, Luke Ahmed. Yeah. So I think that helped me in framing how I approach the questions. But I think in general, Larry Greenblatt and his Internet Work Defense program for his CISSP, that was very, very, very good. Cyber with Kelly Hanrahan was very, very, very good. Helped me connect the dots after going through Thor's course and Mike Chappell's course, as well as having watched at that point Inside Cloud Security about maybe the 8th time going through this course. His little crash course exam prep. Um, and then just really reinforcing with practice questions. I think if you can, if you have the wherewithal to go and take all those practice tests, I did the Wiley uh, study guide practice test. I did the uh, official textbook practice questions. So I did all of them in the exam booklet and in the actual study textbook. All the questions available there. I did the Boson. I did the CC Cure, the IT Pocket Prep. I did the LearnZap. I did the ones available through Cyber Vista. I did Larry Greenblatt's practice test. And I think I did. Oh, I did a bunch of Thor Peterson exams that he has, and then I did some other ones that I don't remember off the top of my head. Um, but I did pay for some additional practice tests is escaping my mind as of right now. But I think that the exam is really mental. It's mind over matter. I think anybody can pass it if they put in the work. I think it's not the hardest exam ever. I think personally, my CAS Plus when I took it was harder, but at that point in time, I had less experience, so that could have been played a factor. I spent the whole time, however, I think it was 3 hours, whatever how long that exam was, and the exam finished mid lab as I was doing a portion of the lab for the PBQs, and I felt I failed. But and I think the CISSP, I went through 125 questions in about an hour and something, and I felt that I was going to pass early, and I did. So I think main thing is mindset, how you view the exam. If you go out there and you say, I'm going to crush this thing, I don't care what anybody says about it, I'm going to do what I need to do, I'm going to study, and I'm going to go pass it at this date, and you book it at that date, and you just, all you think about is, I'm going to pass that exam, I'm going to pass that exam, I'm going to pass that exam. I feel pretty confident you will pass that exam. Obviously, I can't guarantee anything for anybody because everybody's very different. But if I were to still, if I was to keep scrolling through Reddit and looking through the millions of posts I've looked at, I think that I probably would have been still discouraged and probably would have pushed it off because everybody makes it seem like no matter what you do, you can prepare. You can go travel the world and find the ancient ISC squared monks and pray to them for their blessing to give you the mind connection to the CISSP gods and bless you with the ability to pass. Like, it's not like that. I don't need to sacrifice my newborn child for me to be able to pass the exam. But you just got to put in the work and just see a lot of questions. I think any certification you do, seeing a lot of different questions, seeing a lot of different ways people write questions and ask questions, you can really get better at reading and picking out the parts you need, because that's really what the exam's about. You need to know the stuff, right? But really, you need to know how to understand communication in this written form, because I think also that kind of helps you in the real world, in the industry, because a lot of things people don't really know what they want, and people don't really understand what's requirements and they don't understand what technology you're talking about when you talk technical, and you have to make those translations happen all the time. So I feel like this exam embodies that in practice through their questions about, like, okay, this is kind of confusing, how do I decipher this? And that's what we do, what I do, at least in the real world. We're deciphering a lot of this stuff with what requirements are from executives and what the strategy is and how do we implement that. And we're kind of going back and forth in that interpretation process. So that is also something that can be applicable to your actual job. But understanding how those questions are, I think, is through seeing a lot of questions. But I think that's pretty much it. CISSP, you guys should be able to pass it. I'm confident if you just believe and you set out and you book it and you just go and you do what you need to do and stay off people trying to tell you you can't pass it, then I think you'll be in the 90th percentile who those who take it, who pass it. So take that how you will, and hopefully this helps some people that are a little bit discouraged. So go out there, prepare, book it, you got it.